Here's the story of Death Stranding 1. No, I can do this. So in Death Stranding, the world takes place after a huge catastrophe. Or the game takes place after a huge catastrophe called the Death Stranding. It is unclear to me if this has affected the entire world or only America. The game is very focused on America. And I don't know if they ever really addressed the rest of the world. This catastrophe was caused by research into the afterlife. There was a lot of scientific research, and this is all before the game started, a bunch of scientific research into life after death, or death after death. What happens after death? And essentially, there's your body and your soul, right? Classic dualism. And when you die, your soul goes to the beach. And the beach is like a middle ground. It's like the liminal space between life and death. And then eventually you move on from the beach into the beyond. And different people have different beaches, but under certain circumstances, people can share the beach. Yeah, you go to the beach. Nicki Minaj. And so during this research, because it turned out that that connection between our world and the beach was a source of not just nearly unlimited energy, but also non-localized energy. That, like, because it wasn't like a Euclidean connection, right? So you could like transmit things over, you could like teleport, you could transmit items over two spaces, you could like make matter into anything. This is called chiral energy. And so people were like, well, obviously we need to like invest into this and figure out what's going on here. But in doing so, they like fucked up. I don't remember if it's ever exactly explained what the exact nature of the fuck up is. But it turns out, we know at the very least that if basically, like, spirits started coming back. But if a spirit makes contact with its body after death, like if they reunite, it causes what's called a void out, which is essentially like a huge nuclear explosion, more or less. Like a big ass crater. And just like annihilates everything in a huge radius. And so when people die, you have to burn their bodies. So as a result of the Death Stranding, society as we know it essentially ceased to exist. In large part, well, one, I think a lot of people died. Either to void outs or also the rain got fucked up. Now when it rains, it's called time fall. And if you get hit with the rain, it speeds up time and like hyper ages you. Like really fast. And so because of that, but also because I believe like it becomes risky to have a lot of people close together, because then you have like a lot of spirits and bodies and like a higher chance of void outs, I think. Essentially, for all of these reasons and probably more, society became very spread out and segregated. There really were no longer any like huge cities. For one thing, they all had to be underground because of the time fall. And also there were just a lot fewer people because a lot of people died. And also like we all just like fell out of connection with each other. And so this brings us to the actual events of the game, where you play as Sam Porter Bridges, the son of the president. And he is a porter. Because no one can leave their little city domes, or a lot of people just like live on their own in their own little shelters, it's incredibly important. It's incredibly important that there are couriers and porters to deliver things to people. So that's his job, is he carries packages and cargo from person to person. And from city to city. He is summoned by his mother, the president. And it is revealed to her, it is revealed to Sam as his mother is dying, that his mother's administration, including his sister, Amelie, were embarking on a huge project to reconnect America, to rebuild a network between the cities and the communities across the nation, a chiral network to reunite the country. However, in the course of trying to do this, Amelie was kidnapped by extremists. Extremists who have goals and principles, probably. And so the president asks her son Sam to take over the job of reconnecting the country. Sam's like, I don't wanna. And his mom is like, no, but do it. And then dies. And Sam's like, ugh, fine, Mom, I'll do it. Now, we haven't even talked about babies yet. So, Sam is a type of person called a reclaimant? It's not a revenant. He's a rare person who has been to the beach, but like came back and he's cool. So as a result, he's like different. He's #built different. And because of that, there are things about him that are important, I guess. Now, there are people who use things called bridge babies, which are babies, but they're like kind of stillborn, and they're like attached to their mothers who are also dead. And like through that connection, they are able to like detect the ghosts that are everywhere, because there are ghosts everywhere. And they're particularly large ghosts called BTs, which stands for beached things. But the baby is like in touch with the beach and the afterlife. So the baby like, wow, there's ghosts. And then there's a machine on his back that goes whoop, 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 whoop. And then you can see ghosts. And the baby's like, I don't like the ghosts. And Sam's like, well, I don't like him either, but I don't know what you want me to do about him. And so you try to run away so you can deliver someone a pizza. And so while you're delivering pizzas, you're also like building roads, and you're building zip lines. You're peeing on ghosts. You're doing all the important parts of nation building. And you're also getting in touch with like doomsday preppers and like recluses, people who are like, nah, I don't like society, I don't want to reconnect. And Sam's like, but I brought you those tampons you ordered. And they're like, I don't know. And then later Sam's like, yeah, but like your baby's been crying and I brought you milk. And they're like, okay, I guess society's good. And then you connect them to the network. But also, like, building the network is increasing chiral interference, which is also increasing the prevalence of BTs. But it turns out that because Sam is, like, has this weird beach connection himself, his blood, piss, and urine, or blood, piss, and shit, rather, not just his piss, but also his urine, his blood, piss, and shit can be used to damage and even destroy BTs. At which point they turn into chiral crystals, which you can use for chiral energy to build bikes. Now the baby, Sam gets a baby. He gets a bridge baby, BB, who he also calls Lou. And Lou, it turns out, was the child of Mads Mikkelsen, who did things and was upset about other things. And there's also this guy called Higgs. Higgs is the leader of the extremists who captured Amelie. And Higgs is crazy. He's crazy. He also has a baby. And Higgs is like, come on, Sam. Come on, Sam. Don't you want to be a bad? And Sam's like, Norman Reedus. And Higgs is like, oh, but we're gonna... And Sam's like, meh. And that's every cutscene between them, I think. And eventually Higgs turns into, like, a big boy. And then you shoot him, and then he's done. But then there's also Mads Mikkelsen, and he's stuck on the beach. But, like, he's stuck on, like, multiple different beaches. Like, you keep meeting him on various beaches that all resemble, like, different American wars. And you have to, like, fight other ghosts, but also him, who might be a ghost. It's unclear. Also, they're twins. And one of the twins is a scientist lady. And she had a baby who died, but the baby's ghost is still around, and it's always connected to her. And then she gets crushed by rubble. But don't worry, she has a twin sister who immediately shows up and takes her job. So it's like she never left. And in the course of, like, fighting Higgs on the various beaches, we will fight them on the beach, and we will fight them on the other beach. Sam ends up on, like, the beach with, like, him and also Mads Mikkelsen, but finally, like, they talk to Mads Mikkelsen, and they're like, dude, and he's like, oh man, you're right, and he goes away, I think. And then Higgs is there, and then you punch Higgs a lot. And you punch him so much, and then he punches you, and you punch him, and you guys just punch each other so much. Amelie's, like, around. She, like, occasionally is, like, she shows up on your beach to be like, Sam. And Sam's like, what? And then wakes up. And there's whales. There's whales, because the beach is like a literal beach, so beach things tend to take the shapes of, like, aquatic creatures, and sometimes Amelie is huge, and sometimes she's not, and she's talking to the baby, and maybe the baby is Lou, the bridge baby, but maybe it's Sam, and I had a lot of theories about how Amelie was actually the president, but it was Timefall, but I was wrong. Those were all wrong, which I was kind of bummed about, not just because I wanted to be right, but because I thought it would have been really cool, but whatever. And then so you finish punching Higgs, and Higgs is like, oh, fuck. Oh, right, and there's this French girl named Fragile, and she's my girlfriend, and she can teleport, and she runs a shipping company, and, oh, right, And, oh, yeah, okay, and people, okay, so people don't like her because they think that she was running a shipping company, but then they think she did a terrorism. But she didn't want to do a terrorism. She was manipulated by Higgs to carry, like, an antimatter bomb. And as part of that, like, she got all time fall, so like she's young and hot and Lea Seydoux, but her hand is all old and shit. And she's like mysterious and like, and I love her. Oh, and there's also a doctor called Hartman, Saul Hartman. His first name's not Saul, but he is Hartman. And he is looking for his wife's beach. And so every 45 minutes, he puts himself into cardiac arrest for 90 seconds so he can go and check another beach. And so he'll die. And then 90 seconds later, he's got a thing on his chest that revives him. He's like, no, my wife wasn't there. I'll try again in 45 minutes. And he just does that forever. Oh, yeah, there's Guillermo del Toro, who they never address, has a giant scar across his head, very much indicating that they saved his brain or, you know, whatever. They never talk about that. And he's working with the president, but he's also like, hey, very suspicious of the president's like right-hand man, Die Hardman, who has like a metal mask, like an MF Doom mask on, and he's shady for reasons. And Guillermo del Toro's character is suspicious of him because of things that we learn about, maybe. So Fragile didn't actually do a terrorism, but she was like made to be the instrument of a terrorism. So then you punch Higgs a lot, and then Higgs goes like, poof, and you're like, yeah. And then you and your sister run along the beach, and your sister looks at you and says, it's just like those video games we used to play. You saved me. I'm like the princess you saved. You're like Mario, and I'll be Princess Peach. And then I scream forever, and I never stop screaming. I never stop screaming. On a certain level, I've been screaming ever since. You can't hear it all the time, but there is a constant scream emanating from every part of me since that moment in my life. And then you're like the baby's like, chill. You have a baby now. You have a baby. You were supposed to kill the baby, but you didn't, because you like the baby. And you burned your mom, because you have to burn bodies, but you didn't kill the baby. Because you like it, and you're Sam Porter Bridges, but you're like, baby though. And sometimes the baby gets scared, and you have to. And then your controller starts crying until you soothe the baby, and then your controller stops crying. And you can make trucks. Oh, and there are guys called Mules. And mules are a type of crazy men who emerged as a result. I believe they existed before the Death Stranding. Because what happened is in the recent past, this is low-key my favorite part of the game. In the recent past, automation became so ubiquitous in manufacturing and shipping that human delivery people became obsolete. But because we live in a world that is so dead set against the idea that human life has value, human life only has value if you have a job, that like if you have a job, then cool, then you're allowed in society, but like if someone just like pays you like universal basic income, then you're trash. So because of that, when a lot of people were out of jobs, they went fucking cuckoo loco crazy nuts. And they were like, no, fuck you, actually. You have to let humans do these shitty jobs. Give us back our shitty jobs. And so automated delivery drones and shit like that were essentially like outlawed, so that they could have their shitty jobs back, because we're addicted to our shitty jobs, because that's the only way that society allows us to have any value or dignity. And so as a result, a whole subculture built up that treats carrying cargo as an inherent good, independent of what the cargo is, who it's coming from, or who it's going to. It's just like a fetish for work. It's a work fetish. It's so barely fiction. It's like so like dramatically just what actual real capitalism does to people. And so they're crazy, and if you have cargo, they will try to kill you to get the cargo, and they just hoard cargo because they love having cargo because capitalism has driven them mad. And sometimes it snows, and the snow is worse. Death Stranding. Conan O'Brien is there? He's married to a cosplayer. Oh yeah! And when you die, if you die, like you can't die. Like Sam can't die. Sam can't die. So if Sam dies, he goes into the water. The water of the beach, but then he can like find his body and reconnect. But there's also the spirits of other people who are also people playing the game, and in battles sometimes those people show up and they throw you grenades because they're like, you got it buddy, I'm a ghost but you're kind of a ghost too, and like here's some first aid kits or whatever. So when you're dead in the water, you like, but literally, you like go and you find your body and you reconnect. But in the course of reconnecting, the camera shoots down Sam's throat, and deep down in his throat is the baby, and the baby goes, "Oh," and then you're alive again. But sometimes it's the baby's butt. And before you got the baby, it wasn't a baby inside of you. It was a weird, creepy doll with weird, fucking creepy doll eyes. And I don't understand it, and I didn't understand it, and I never will understand it. And also, Higgs's baby is a doll, I think? Death Stranding. I'm gonna put this on YouTube. I thought I did a pretty good job. It's so weird. It's so fucking weird. Like Kojima games being weird is like such a cliche. You know, like we all get it, like, oh, it was the game by Hideo Kojima weird? Like, oh, what a surprise. But like, I feel like we must not let the strength of the cliche numb us to the reality that justifies the cliche. It can become so easy to be like, wow, Kojima's crazy. But no, he's so fucking crazy. We can't just like label him like, what a kook, and move. No! We must always be thinking about it. We must always be thinking not just that he is crazy, but how he is crazy and why he is crazy. Hideo Kojima Productions. Directed by Hideo Kojima. Written by Hideo Kojima based on a story concept by Hideo Kojima. Special thanks, Hideo Kojima. Catering by Hideo Kojima. Here's a grenade we made out of your piss and poop. I try so hard to avoid the whole like, comment, and subscribe. Don't be like, share with someone you know. Hit that bell. I don't like doing that. Which is a big part of the reason that I'm not more successful than I am. Because actually, you're really supposed to do that, and you have to do it because it does work, and it's important. So I hate doing it, but I'm gonna, like, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say the thing we've all fucking heard 9 million times. If you like the video, and I hope that you do, I would really, more than maybe any other video I've put up, or at least any video that I've put up in a long time, I would really love it if you would, like, send it to someone you know. Or post it on a social media. That would really mean a lot to me. Piss on that like button. Guys, Hawk2 spit on that like button. Should I put this clip at the end of the video? No, right? Like, definitely not. Unless? But like, unless though?